Hi, Jackie Van Ruller here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can boost your metabolism and lose fat using facial reflexology. This is something that's very near and dear to my heart because following COVID, I actually put on a good 50 pounds. And so I've done a lot of research on weight loss and insulin resistance and what you should be eating and doing to lose weight and to stay in a healthy weight, even as you age, because this is something that is new to me. I've always been able to maintain a decent weight pretty easily with exercise. And then furthermore, I had a intern who was working with me prior to COVID, and so I was getting facial reflexology treatments at least twice a week. And what I noticed when I was doing that is that I actually slimmed down quite a bit. Not that I was overweight at the time, but I noticed that my figure was much more appealing to me. I lost the little bit of belly fat that I had. I felt like my muscles were stronger and more defined, even without working out a whole lot more than I had been before then. So facial reflexology is an awesome tool that you can use to enhance your weight loss. And it's going to work much better when you're receiving treatments. And the reason for that is because when you're receiving treatments, you're turning off that stress that you kind of carry around in your brain. You're able to allow yourself to get into more of a meditative state, and this promotes healing in your body. It's going to promote detoxification. Your fat cells do carry a lot of toxins, and so you want to get a lot of those things out of your body to decrease inflammation and weight and excess fluid, that you're carrying as well. So if that makes sense, we'll go ahead and get started. First points we're going to work are the kidneys. So we're going to work from the corners of our mouth all the way up to the forehead and then down just a little bit. You might feel an area that it feels like your fingertips fit right into it, and that has to do with the kidneys. The kidneys are really important for regulating your autonomic nervous system, particularly sympathetic versus parasympathetic. And either way, if you're too much in the sympathetic or the fight or flight, you can tend to gain weight specifically around your abdomen, and that's because you have too much cortisol. If you're too much in the parasympathetic, this is kind of the freeze response. Your body's holding on to every ounce of energy that it can because it's expecting that you're going to be into a state of famine or an area where you're not going to have the energy that you need. So your body's like, okay, I need to store everything I can. So work these 2 points and notice which one feels more stuck or more resistant. If you don't have a magic wand yet, you are going to want to get one because this is a really cool tool for feeling this. But you can also just use your fingertips or your knuckles to get in there. You probably won't feel it as acutely as you will with a magic wand, which is why this is nice to really have, because I'm noticing that my left side is much more stuck than my right side is. Left side has to do with like going with the flow, and right side is more like fiery, like passion and sympathetic and those types of things. So mine is saying that I just need to relax and go with the flow. It is towards the end of the day. I've had a very busy day, so that makes a lot of sense to me. Next points we're going to do are halfway between the brow and the forehead, and then this area right here. These are paired points that are helping to relax and calm the nervous system. They're actually like a natural sedative. So these are going to really help improve sleep. And sleep is super important to weight loss and metabolism because your body needs to rest and rejuvenate in order to detoxify and strengthen your muscles and help with your digestion and all of those things. So sleep is super, super important. In fact, I would say it's more important than anything else. So if you're not getting good sleep, I would stop everything you're doing and focus on that first, and then work on getting your motivation, your exercise, and all of those things. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to have food cravings. You're going to rely on things like caffeine, alcohol, tobacco, or sugar to keep you awake. So definitely work on your sleep first. It's going to be a huge, huge, huge help to your weight loss and metabolism. Okay, next point is right in here. And again, this is a relaxing sedative point. So take some deep breaths, enjoy the feeling, relax your shoulders, and then work over in here. Okay, The next point we're going to do is our third eye. So this is for the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is a gland that excretes melatonin. Melatonin is really important for restful and restorative sleep, so that works really well with the points we just did. And melatonin is also a really powerful antioxidant, which means that it pairs with free radicals and helps to remove them from the body. So any toxins or things like that. So you really want to make sure you're getting good sleep because you want lots of melatonin production. Other ways to get good melatonin production are to turn off your devices, your TV, your cell phone, your computer, at least 2 hours prior to bed, and to get lots of natural light during the day. So first thing when you get up, go outside and just look at the sun, or just notice, get some fresh air and some fresh sunlight, and then do that again in the evening. Is a really great way to get some infrared light that'll help to stimulate that melatonin production. Next point we're going to do is right here between the brows. And this is probably the most important point of the entire routine. This is something that if you're really trying to lose weight and increase your metabolism, I would do this probably 3 or 4 times a day. This is one you don't want to overstimulate, so you just want to stimulate it for probably about 10 to 15 seconds. This is your power center, or your pituitary gland. And this also has to do with your HPA axis, which is your hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. So this decides whether your body's in sympathetic, parasympathetic, or whether it can really float between the two. So it's basically your stress response. If you are stressed out, you're going to gain weight because you're either going to be in that fight or flight where you're over cortisolized or over stressed, then you're going to get out that excess weight in your abdomen. Or if you're parasympathetic, your body's trying to conserve energy at all costs. Additionally, the pituitary gland secretes growth hormone, and growth hormone is an incredible hormone that works to strengthen your muscles and bones and also increase your metabolism and decrease fat stores. So this is one you really want. As we age, our growth hormone levels go down, but they go down exponentially more when you're stressed. So we want to have lots of growth hormone going. Now, don't take growth hormone supplements because they do have a lot of nasty side effects. You want the natural growth hormone that your body is already producing. Next point, come down your nose. Right here at the tip of the nose is a point for filtering your blood. This is a point that really helps to enhance your blood, to make sure you have plenty of oxygen, plenty of iron, plenty of minerals, plenty of nutrition in your blood. So notice if this point feels really loose or flaccid, it's a good sign that your blood is not you don't have like a really good, healthy blood supply. Okay, next point is going to be the liver. So we're going to work on the right side of the face, in line with the bottom of the nose, directly underneath of the eyes, and then a little bit to the right of that is the gallbladder. We're going to be working both of these points together, and you can just support this area and work with your magic wand just slightly upwards. The liver and the gallbladder are really responsible for making cholesterol and bile, which help to absorb fats and break them down. So if your body doesn't get enough fats, or it's not able to break it down well, then you'll be deficient in vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are the fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamin A is really important for vision and skin health. D is really important for your overall immune system and your mood. So if you're deficient in vitamin D, you're probably going to be more likely to feel depressed or anxious or things like that. E is great for your skin, and K is important for blood clotting. Now, your liver makes bile, and it also makes and breaks down cholesterol. And you need cholesterol to make bile. Bile is a detergent that works to emulsify fats so that your body can use them appropriately. Your body runs way better on fats than it does on carbohydrates. So if you're eating too many carbohydrates, particularly things like sugars, processed foods, or grains, those things all turn into sugar in your body, and they can lead to things like a fatty liver, or for your body to store more fat because you're not producing enough insulin in order to actually use that glucose as energy. And generally, the older you get, the less your body's able to use glucose as energy, and the more it wants to use fats and proteins. So think about your diet and look at where can I cut out some of these sugars, processed foods, or sugar processed foods and grains. So breads, cereals, things like that, really not good for your body. Even oatmeal, these things all turn into glucose in your body, and they do affect your liver, causing your liver and gallbladder to have a harder time breaking down fats, and then they'll store energy as fat instead of digesting them, if that makes sense. Next, we're going to go to the left-hand side, in line with the bottom of the nose, and directly over the smile line right here is the stomach. So this point is really, really important in digestion because this is basically the first major step of the digestive process. So the first step is when we're chewing our food in our mouth, we're starting to break down some of the foods just through chewing in that manual process. But then that food goes into your stomach, and your stomach then mixes that food with stomach acid. You want your stomach acid to be between 1 and 3. That's a pH. If it's higher than that, it won't break down the food into the individual building blocks of amino acids. So the stomach breaks down proteins. You want every protein that you eat to be broken down into amino acids so that your body can use it. If your body's not breaking down your food into these individual amino acids, it can wreak a lot of havoc on your body. First thing it can do is it can cause food allergies because your body doesn't recognize chains of amino acids. So if those things are being digested in your small intestine and then going through the intestinal walls, your body's immune system will actually produce a response and say, hey, I'm going to attack you because I don't recognize what you are. And that's how food allergies are formed. So you want to make sure that your stomach is right on par with breaking those down. And one way that you can make sure that you're getting plenty of stomach acid is to eat more proteins, particularly meats, and high protein foods. Eggs are really amazing for proteins if you're not already allergic to them. If you do feel like you are allergic to eggs, you're definitely not allergic to the yolks, it's just to the whites. And then sometimes that can be caused by vaccines, because vaccines are one of the few things that contain full amino acids or full proteins that are injected into your body. So your body will form that immune response to it. So just be careful. When you do get vaccines, make sure it's a certain thing that you really need, and do your research on it as to what the side effects have been for people. But other ways to increase stomach acid are to make sure you're not drinking carbonated beverages, which have an high acidity content. Then your stomach's not producing as much. Your stomach actually wants to work really hard to make stomach acid. And so you want your stomach to not get lazy. So you want it to be producing lots and lots of stomach acid to break down those proteins. The other organ we're going to work is the spleen, which is right here. And the spleen is important for a couple of reasons. The spleen controls the digestive process, and it also is the largest lymph node of the body. Your digestive system has its very own lymphatic system called the GALT, the gut-assisted lymphatic tissue, and it's really important for taking away waste, cellular waste, as your body's in the digestive process. So you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of movement through that lymphatic system. Okay. Next area we're going to work is the large intestine. So that you can work by going up and down your smile lines. This point here is going to allow your large intestine to absorb more fluids back into your body when it needs to, and also to promote your microbiome, the bacteria that helps you to fully digest your food. And this also increases gut motility, so you're able to defecate or have better stools more easily. Particularly if you're eating a lot of fiber, things can really get stuck in your gut. A lot of times people will say, oh, well, meat gets moldy and rotted and rots in your gut, but actually your body uses pretty much all of the nutrients in meat. So people who eat only meat actually have very small stools because their body's able to use all of the nutrients. It's one of the foods that your body almost never gets allergic to. You're never allergic to meat. You're more allergic to other types of food. And then we're going to work the areas here for the pancreas. The pancreas produces digestive enzymes. It's really important in blood sugar regulation. If your blood sugar is high, you're more likely to store that sugar as fat in your body. You're more likely to get a fatty liver so that your liver doesn't work as well to produce and recycle bile, which is going to help you to break down the fats that you eat, which are really important for the fat-soluble vitamins of A, D, E, and K. So all of your systems, you can see that they all work together. So when one of your systems goes out of balance, they kind of all go out of balance. This is why you might feel like you feel great one day, and it's like all of a sudden you feel like everything's kind of going wrong or haywire, because once one of those systems in your body gets out of balance, they can all kind of follow suit. And a lot of times it takes a while for these things to happen. So you can be stressing out your body over a long period of time, but then all of a sudden it just feels like it hits you in one fell swoop. This point right here, this is a point you want to avoid if you're pregnant, but this helps to stimulate that sympathetic nervous system. So a lot of times when we're in gaining weight, our sympathetic nervous system is kind of turned off and your body's trying to, get in that survival mode where it's holding on to all of its energy instead of using it. So this is helping your body to use energy and to help you feel more vibrant and energetic. Okay. Then we're going to work this point right here, which is the small intestine. 90% of all of the absorption of your nutrients happens in the small intestine. So we want a nice, healthy small intestine. So notice how this area feels for you. I notice a lot of people have a lot of lumpiness and bumpiness around here. If that's occurring, you probably are not getting full absorption of your nutrients. You might have other things going on with your small intestine. So work this point regularly. This is a really good one to work for metabolism and digestion. And then the last full point we're going to work is right here in front of the earlobes. This is a point for the thyroid. One of the main symptoms that you'll notice when your body's in that parasympathetic energy conserving mode is hypothyroidism. So hypothyroidism is everything in your body slowing down. You'll notice weight gain, constipation, hair loss, low energy. You'll feel like you can sleep all night and wake up in the morning and still not have energy. Those are all signs of hypothyroidism. If you're working this point and it feels particularly sensitive, or feels stuck, or you feel like you have to cough when you're working this point, you may have a really sensitive thyroid. You want to definitely do some work to get that working well again. One of the things that can really affect the thyroid is grains. A lot of grains, actually, they'll put bromide in the grains to preserve it, but bromide can replace the iodine molecule on T4 and T3, which are some of your thyroid hormones. And when that happens and your thyroid doesn't work as well, the receptors don't pick up thyroid hormone as well, and then you have issues with your thyroid. So I do highly recommend that if you're having thyroid issues or you sense that you might be, that you give up grains, sugars, and processed foods completely. And I would add seed oils into there as well. Those are probably the worst detriments to your health. And I think that once you give those things up, you'll notice that you have much more energy, much better health, much better motivation, focus, all of those wonderful things. Probably better exercise tolerance as well, better sleep, all those things go in conjunction. And then as always, we work around the ears or up and down the ears. This should feel really good. Your ears are associated with your kidneys. Your kidneys help to regulate your autonomic nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system regulates 90% of the functions that your body does, everything that your body does without you thinking about it. That is breathing, digestion, metabolism, emotions. And so make sure that you spend some good time on these ears each day. Even if you don't do any of the other stuff, working the ears and this point in here will be incredibly helpful for improving the metabolism. All right, as always, do this a couple of times and be sure to comment on what you noticed in your body, and make sure you're working with a partner specifically for this one, because this is really great for really turning off your brain and helping things in your body to regulate and get into a better state of balance. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.